Welcome back to the pregame show here on the NECBL Broadcast Network. It is time for the front office report. Dave Peck alongside Director of Baseball Operations, Mike Falcone. Mike, how are we doing today?
I'm good, Dave. How you doing today?
Beautiful day. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So about 2 weeks left in the season, if you can believe it. Do you find that, the interns, yourself, the front office, have gotten into a rhythm, kind of what has to be done game day and on off days?
Oh, yeah, certainly. By this time, everybody's kind of figured out what they need to do pre-game, during game, post-game. I find myself getting to the ballpark maybe a couple minutes after I normally would in the beginning of the season, just because I know our banners are going to be placed this way, our gates are going to be set up in the way that they're supposed to be. So it's definitely getting easier as we go, but every game is a different monster in there.
What would you say is one of the biggest responsibilities that you have when Newport is on the road and you're back in the office?
On the road, it's really just preparing for those upcoming games. Next week being arguably the biggest week of the year, having our American Heroes, our Military Appreciation, and our Mark Weed Night. So it's really preparing for the next game, and then also trying to do the accounting and doing the financial aspect of the operation from games past and take care of the sponsors and all those while we're on the road. Because there's not, now that we each feed the teams when they're here or when we go there, we used to have to find food and facilitate that, but now there's a reciprocal deal. So there's really not much except watching the game and enjoying some baseball.
Now, you mentioned a big promotional week next week. What are some of the things, you mentioned them by name, but how important are they to the Gulls and the community of Newport?
Oh, these are nights that we've had for the duration of the time we've been in Newport here. American Heroes, which is honoring police, fire, and EMT, the people who sacrifice their time and dedicate their lives to helping the community day in and day out. Our Raytheon Military Appreciation Night is another tradition here in Newport. Being a naval community in itself, we have a ton of military connections, host families, interns, players' families, this, that, and the other thing. So it's our way of saying thank you to those people that have made, in some cases, the ultimate sacrifice. And then on Friday is, again, a tremendous night of magnitude as we honor the legacy of Mark Weed, who was, for those who don't know, the deceased husband of former Senate President Teresa Weed. And in his will, he actually wanted the Newport Gulls to send kids from the area to our summer camps on his behalf. So that's a scholarship program that's been running for about 10 years now, and it culminates in this one night where we bring down all the scholarship recipients. Teresa Weed and her family are here. Members of Congress, members of the community are here to celebrate his legacy and all the great things that he's been able to do as a result of that scholarship fund. So moving forward, we have a ton going on, and then not to mention our People's Credit Union Fanatic About Reading on July 25th that we're also planning for. So only 2 weeks left, hard to believe, but there's still plenty of fun stuff going on, plenty of things to be excited for, not to mention being in the playoff hunt here, battling our in-state rivals.
Right, Newport just 3 games out, but if you're in the area, make sure you get to one of the games next week. So many things going on at the ballpark. Now from more of a roster standpoint, on behalf of the front office, you bring in a lot of guys before the season starts, and then it's customary that some have to leave for injury, this reason, the next. From a front office standpoint, how do you guys kind of handle that situation?
Well, it is interesting, as you and I sat in the office the other day and saw 33 guys that we had originally signed. There's 13 here with us today. It's very reactionary, very spur of the moment. It really is based on who's available when. A lot of the local guys may be coming back from being in other leagues, seeing when some of the other leagues finish up, and kind of who's still good to go at this point in the season. It's a long year for these guys. When you play college ball all spring long, then you get into the summer season, it's a grind. We lost some guys to injury. We lost some guys to nagging, things that maybe lated them in the spring. But for us, it's just keeping those connections going with college coaches, with summer coaches, and seeing kind of who's ready to come and take that next step and hopefully help us with this playoff push.
Newport still has some work to do. 15 games left in the regular season. For the Director of Baseball Operations, Mike Falcone, I'm Dave Peck. The Newport Gulls pregame show continues next right here on the NECBL Broadcast Network.